Hey everybody, it's me, Nostradamus. I know I have not made a video in like 2 months, and I'm sorry for that. It's just I've been so busy just trying to get myself together and school and work and exams. But I finally have enough time to actually make probably this video and probably some others. So anyway, this video is pretty much about unpopular opinions. Just pretty much my opinions, which is of course actually all of them are unpopular. Now, some people may agree and some people may actually get angry at me for saying these opinions that I'm going to state in the next few seconds, but, personally I don't care. As I say, different strokes for different folks. Everybody, as Q-Tip said, opinions are like voices, we all have a different kind. So, anyway, my first unpopular opinion is Usher's album Confession wasn't good. I don't know why people think it's such a good album. Personally, I think it was just a waste of really 70 minutes on a CD. And the reason why I say this is because there really wasn't any good songs. I did not like the song Confession. I did not like Let It Burn. Yeah, it was such an annoying song. I swear. For every time they played that on the radio, I just really wanted to call up V103 or Hot 97, not Hot 90, well actually 107.9, and tell them, hey, can you please stop playing this crap? I can't stand that song. God damn it. And, yeah, and they, I don't know, I just did not like the album. I didn't think it was really that good. I think it was very overhyped. The only song I like on that album was Caught Up. That was it. Because everything else on that album was just boring. Yeah. Now, my second opinion is, and even though I've already ranted about this, is BET. BET sucks. BET is horrible. BET needs to get off the air. It's been on for 30 years, and it looks like crap, and that's no thanks to Viacom. And I already ranted about it, and if you haven't seen the video, just check it out. Third unpopular opinion is athletes. Now, when I say athletes, I'm talking about, in terms of them getting, their salary. I personally think they don't deserve nearly as much as they're getting. I just think it's really just horrible how they get, $1 million a year just to throw a ball in a basket, while you got people who risk their lives every day and they probably barely get $32,000 a year. That doesn't make any sense to me. When I say people who risk their lives, I'm talking about police officers and firefighters, and I personally think teachers need to be paid a lot more than what they're getting. And I personally think people do not give teachers enough credit. Yeah, there are some teachers that are not that great, but for every bad teacher out there, there's at least 2 or 3 that are really good. And to me, I just think athletes do not need to be paid nearly as much as they're getting, because personally, all they're doing, and when I mean athletes, I mean people who are in basketball, football, just watching a bunch of guys. In football, you're just watching a bunch of guys just throw and kick a ball around. And basketball, you're just seeing a whole bunch of guys just throwing a throwing a ball in the basket. And baseball, you're just watching a bunch of guys just hit a ball with a stick. I mean, really, they should not be paid $1 million. Okay, number 4, unpopular opinion. I know I'm not. Once again, I want to say that as much as I don't like nostalgia fanboys, I'm gonna actually go through a nostalgic fanboy moment and say that I personally think that SpongeBob really did ruin Nickelodeon. I mean, I don't really care about Nickelodeon. I don't even watch that channel, but for when I do come across it, all they show is SpongeBob 80 million times a day, and I personally think that SpongeBob is kind of hurting Nickelodeon, because that is pretty much the only show that Nickelodeon can rely on, and I don't understand what that is all about. Yeah, SpongeBob is okay, but I think But I don't think it's fair for all the other shows that have potential. And to me, it doesn't make any sense how, Nickelodeon is ignoring some of the other shows that actually are kind of better than SpongeBob. I don't get that. And to me, I think SpongeBob has pretty much ran its course. The first 3 seasons were fine, but I guess this is just because I lost interest in the movie, after the movie. Or even then, I wasn't really watching it that much before the movie, but still, that's when I really lost interest after that movie. And I think they really should have just, ended it after the movie, but they didn't. And I always wondered, what is up with the creator and stuff, but I learned, later on that the creator is no longer even involved in SpongeBob. In fact, I think he stopped even getting involved in the show about probably 3 years ago or something like that. But anyway, all I'm saying is I think SpongeBob sucks and I think it needs to be off the air. Number 5. People seem to forget that groups like D4L and them franchise boys are one of the reasons why hip hop is what it is nowadays. Now, I get really tired, sick and tired of people always whining and moaning about how, Lil Wayne sucks, he's ruining hip hop, oh my god, Soulja Boy's hard. But let's just be honest, Soulja Boy came out in 2007, It's not like the state of hip hop was all that great before he came along, And I don't think he necessarily ruined hip hop. He's pretty much just, in fact, if anything, D4L and them franchise boys, pretty much is one of the reasons why Soulja Boy is out nowadays, because Soulja Boy is pretty much doing what they were doing back in 2004 and 2005. Just doing stupid little dance songs and repetitive beats and whatever they're saying. And Lil Wayne, I don't know why people say Lil Wayne ruined hip-hop, because, one, Lil Wayne has been out since the late 90s, before he was really anybody, and that's when he was with Cash Money Records, and personally, he's just now really becoming, a superstar per se. He was only been, a superstar, a superstar per se for 2 years, and everybody's all he ruined hip hop. I don't really understand. Personally, I don't like either one of them, but I really do get sick. But I will for once defend them and say that they didn't ruin hip hop. If you want to blame somebody for ruining hip hop, you should blame the following: D4L and them franchise boys and guys that sound like them, and that came long before, Soulja Boy, and, let's see, what else, and then, I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but, 2 Live Crew, and some gangster rappers. So be it. I'll get into that probably later on if I make another video of why I said that, but that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. But you know what? I'm going to speak of another rapper who I think personally ruined hip-hop, was one of the reasons why hip-hop sounds the way it is. And that goes to my 6th unpopular opinion, P. Diddy. P. Diddy sucks. I don't care what anybody says. People can sit there all they want talking about, well, man, you must have not been around back in the late 90s when he was making all those good songs, when he had the Carl Thomas and Mace and Notorious B.I.G. and Faith Evans. And I don't care, because to me, I think P. Diddy is one of the reasons why hip-hop's, is also one of the reasons why hip-hop sounds like mess. Okay, he's one of the reasons. He's like one of those people who popularized that whole trying to put R&B and rappers together and making them sing this. Some songs were okay, but a lot of it didn't sound that great. And he's one of those people who popularized that crap. that's why you got rappers singing and singers rapping, and to me that's very trifling. You know, and that's one of the reasons why you can't even tell hip hop from R&B nowadays, because it's together, and you know, and that doesn't make any sense to me, because rap needs to be separate from R&B. See, many years ago, like back in the 80s, you know, you could tell the difference between an R&B song and a rap song. In the 90s, I mean, it was kind of getting to that point where R&B and rap was like really sounding like a lot like each other. And then in 2000, you can't even tell the difference, because you got rappers featured on a singer's song, and then you got a singer feature on a rapper song. Sometimes you couldn't even tell, because you're like, wait a minute, what is this? Is this a rap song or is this an R&B song? Who knows? So that's why I blame P. Diddy for why some of those rap songs, you know, sound like that. Number 7, unpopular opinion. I don't care what anybody says. Digimon was a much better show than Pokemon. Much better. And the reason why I say that, because, okay, Pokemon was okay, but Digimon was better because, 1, it wasn't owned by 4Kids. 2, they had better voice acting. And then 3, they didn't say stupid stuff. Like, they didn't make stupid jokes like every 5 seconds like Pokemon did. And like, I don't even, and then I don't even think they had to edit a lot of things in Digimon that much. A good thing about it is they didn't edit a lot of things about Digimon, because they had them in Japan, and they still had like some of the Japanese the writings and stuff in the show, unlike Pokemon and other shows that were butchered by 4Kids. And I don't know, I just think in some ways that Digimon had a stronger storyline, I guess you could say, you know? Like, okay, like, to be honest, to be kind of fair, Digimon was, like, okay for the first 2 seasons, but, like, for some reason the 3rd season was just completely different from the first 2, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? And then the 4th season was just mess, and then 5th, I don't know, I lost interest a long time ago, but the first 2 seasons of Digimon was way freaking better than Pokemon, and that's just me. My like number 8 unpopular opinion. I'm just gonna say it. Like, our society has contradicted itself far too many times, and what I mean by that is, I don't like it, and it really, really gets on my nerves. Like, and why I say that, because I always hated how when you remember when you're like a kid, and let's just say you have like a mom or dad, or maybe an older relative, maybe like a grandfather or whatever, and they smoke, and they're smoking, blah 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 blah, and you kind of talk to them about it or whatever, and they're kind of like, don't smoke, and yet they're sitting there in front of you just smoking away and just blowing all these puffs out. I'm like, but you're smoking, so why can't I do it? And that's what I mean by society contradicts itself, because it's like, why are you going to sit there and tell somebody not to do something when you're doing it yourself, or everybody else is doing it? I'm not saying, just because, I'm not trying to sit there and say you should follow somebody just because they're doing it, like, just because